Hello friends, it's Simone. I'm here to share my currently inked pens for the month of February with you. As you can see, I have reduced the amount of pens that I have inked. That was a direct result from January, where I had 10 pens inked and I just didn't have enough time to use them as much as I wanted to, and so I decided to pare down and take out 2. So in February I have 8 pens inked. 3 of the pens that I have inked in February are pens that I moved over from January, which is these 3. And then I am using all 3 new pens that I purchased in January for my birthday. And then I have 2 from my stash. So, just a quick look at my inks for the month. These 4 are from my Project Inkdown box. So because I am only using 8 pens, I also made sure to only pick 4 inks instead of 5. And then here are the pens that I'm moving over, and then I added this ink bottle. So there is all the different inks. They're all in my awesome pen and sample stand or pen holder, sample holder from Fountain Pendulum, and then this is my 1 ink bottle that I'm using this month. But let's just go and look at and do writing samples. Maybe I am going to talk quickly. So I have inked, moving over from January, my Palette Custom 823 in amber with a medium nib. It is inked with Diamine Walnut. This one I have had since March of 2023, so this is a pen that I know well now. This is, well, let's call it my Kaweco AL Sport Golden Espresso replacement pen. This is the Lamy LX in Marron, and when I saw this, I thought this could be the perfect replacement for that beautiful brown AL Sport. I sold that pen in the spring of 2023 because it just wasn't the right size for me. This one has a medium nib, and it is inked with Robert Oster Melon Tea. This is another new pen. This is the Opus88 Demonstrator Pink 2024. I don't know how the words go together, but those are all in the name of this pen. And I Franken penned this. I removed the nib and then I added this Pilot Parallel nib. And this is a special nib. This is the Pilot Parallel Radius 4.5 millimeter, and you can buy those at John Neal Books. I have to say though that I was very disappointed in how the grind was done. It is only, I think, a price difference from the regular one of $5 or so. So it's not like you would spend 50, but still, if you sell something, then you should make sure that it works. And this one, the ink didn't really flow out. This is a carryover pen, Esterbrook Estie in sea glass with a Franklin Christoph Sig medium nib. Wow. And then this is my only hand-turned pen that I have in my collection right now. This is the Walltown Watts with the Sebastian acrylic from Turned Pen Co. And it has a fine nib. And this is inked with Waterman Inspired Blue. This one is Fortune's Gold from Diamine. And this one is J. Aubin Emeraude de Chevois. This pen is my problem pen, if you want to call it that. I think I need to let go of this pen. Even though it's a beautiful pen, I wish I was comfortable with the size of this. It's too narrow, and I just don't want to keep this in my collection. I don't feel like retiring this pen. It doesn't have any sentimental value to me, besides the fact that it's from 1997, which is not a special year for me. Well, actually, I had my Abitur then, but still, it's not something that has any kind of personal sentimental value to it, so that it would make sense to retire it and keep it. I would rather probably have this go into someone's hands who would use this. So if you're interested in purchasing it from me, then please let me know. It comes with a 14K medium nib. But I don't want to unscrew this. I have a loaner nib on here. This is a SU nib, which is, I think, Sutabu, which means stub. I'm trying this in the pen right now, but I'm actually really thinking of just taking the nib and putting it in my actual vanishing point. The ink that I have in here is Palette Iroshizuku Tsukiyo. Then the last pen here, well, second to last, is another one of my birthday pens, which is the Scribo Feel in Mosto. I am really in love with this colorway. It has a medium nib. It's an 18K medium nib, and it is inked with Wearingeul Floating Cloud, and I really adore this pen. And then the last pen that I have inked is another carryover, is the Esterbrook Estie in Scarlet, and I put my fine flex nib that I received from my friend Shauna, and it was engraved by Ruth from Shibui North with my YouTube name and a YouTube logo. I hope you can see that down here. So I am going to do writing samples in my Rhodia notebook. Okay, so I'm writing the title with my TWSBI Mini. It has a reverse architect nib, and it is inked still with De Atramentis Document Black ink. February currently inked. Okay, okie dokie. So I am really enjoying this pen and ink combination. I think it's fabulous. It is, I think this is a red leaning brown, and it's just so cool. I can't even, I do think that this is a tad bit dry. This is Diamine Walnut. It is from the most recent Inkvent 2023, and the pen, I already said that, Pilot Custom 823 Amber in medium. And especially when I'm writing on this paper, it feels like it's quite a bit wet, dry. There is some resistance with this ink, and I haven't had that with other inks in this pen, so I assume that maybe it's neutral wetness to leaning towards dry. This is the I usually do this the other way, so I'm just going to swap it around here. Melon tea, and I really don't know why it's called melon tea, what that actually is, but it looked on the Cosmo Air Light paper, it looked very similar to the walnut, but actually it leans more green, and there's some yellow undertones in here. I'm surprised that this is so wet. So this is Robert Oster. And I know that Western medium and Japanese medium aren't the same, but I would assume that just based on my experience with inks, that this ink must be quite dry, because usually what happens is, for me, most of the Robert Oster inks are dry. And I have had several Robert Oster inks in Lamy pens, and I always had the issue of them being so dry and so draggy, but not this time around, I guess. So this is quite interesting. And the way that I'm sorting the colors is by, I put all of this into my fountain pen companion, and then I click on the color, and then it sorts them by some sort of, some kind of scheme. I don't really know what exactly that is, but then I just sort them in that color order and put them on this list. And usually it looks very rainbowy. So I had to really work on this nib to get it to write so that ink would flow. What I love about this is that you can write with this at a higher angle, at a lower angle. There is different line width that you can get from this. So this is, I'm just going to use this edge right here, Diamine Fortune's Gold. It's also a Diamine Inkvent in ink. Oh, I forgot something here. And then this is the, let's try, Pilot Parallel Radius 4.5 millimeter, and radius comes from the rounded edge. It is, however, in my Opus 88 demonstrator. Oh, pink 2024, and I just love this nib now. It looks so fabulous. Awesome. This is a shimmer ink. I didn't agitate my ink before I started writing, but I think there is quite a lot of shimmer here and in the writing as well. So cool. I love it. And then here we have another carryover. I really love this ink. I have previously tested this ink in 2017 maybe. I started my first venture back into fountain pens, and it was didn't last very long. I ordered a sample pack, the favorite sample pack from Goulet, and the J. Urban Emerald de Chivoire was included. It was okay, but it didn't wow me. I mean, this color is nice, and I actually really like how it complements the pen. Similar color family, but not the same. That's definitely something that I love. Esther Brooke. But what I found now is that the shimmer distribution in this ink is just so good because it's not overpowering, which I absolutely love. I do not like how some of these inks just dump a ton of ink, shimmer on top of the ink, just like sometimes when there's heavy sheeners. I just don't enjoy that at all. And here there is a little bit of shimmer throughout the writing, but it's not overpowering the color, and I love that. I definitely have one other ink sample from J. Aubin in the shimmer line, which is Vert Atlantide, that I am very looking forward to using as well. All right, here we have, did I talk about this color earlier? This is Waterman Inspired Blue. And this fine nib is a very smooth, super wet fine nib. And this ink color is so lovely. So Waterman. When I saw this ink in this pen, I had the feeling that I would want to buy a full bottle of this. Walltown. Watts. Sebastian. I call this alicorn poop, but the blank is called Sebastian. I'm not as good with these X's as Chris Sains because I'm using the same finger all the time. So I was going to check because I do have 2 bottles of inks in my, now the question is, where is that color? In my stash. One of them is not this. None of these. I don't think it's here, so maybe it's with the blues, hopefully. Let's hope. So, one of them is Sailor Shikiori Yuki Akari. Okay, so this is Inspired Blue. This is Yuki Akari, and then I do have Diamine Blue Lagoon. Well, this is similar as well, but where is the Blue Lagoon? Do I even have a Aqua Lagoon? Maybe it's too tealy. Maybe I can buy this. Well, I do have this one too, but not as a bottle, just as a sample. However, the samples from Andoryllium are like 15 milliliter. So that's quite a lot. I call that an ink bottle actually. Huh. Can't seem to find. I am definitely drawn to these colors. I do have this as a bottle, and I also have, oh, here is Aqua Lagoon. Okay. And I also have Lamy Tourmaline, so maybe I shouldn't buy a bottle of this ink. I have Konpeki as a bottle. I have Aqua Lagoon, Apatite. I mean, they're all, wow. These colors look, this is much greener in real life than it looks on camera. These are kind of like all an iteration of the same color, just with a slightly different hue. These two are very similar. This is just lighter than this one. But given the price of this, I might get one of those. I really like this. I'm curious to see how I like writing with it in here. It's not super wet, but it's also not super dry. And then we have the Problem Child. So the thing is, when I hold this in my hand, I feel like I would need more of this. So if I put a towel or so around it so that it's thicker, like, you know, one of those plastic grips that you put on pencils, that would be the perfect thing for this pen for me. And so I don't think I should be keeping it. In fact, maybe I should just do that right now. Hold on. And let's see how that feels when I write with it. Maybe I'll write the top line with, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So I am going to, this ink is Pilot Iroshizuku. I have the feeling that it flops away here. I don't know why. And then I'm going to take this out, put this right here. So if you are interested in this pen, this is the Pilot Namiki, the Namiki Vanishing Point in Hunter Green with a medium 14K nib that was in, I have the original box, everything is still there. So I would like to pass this on to someone who, well, of course, I would like to sell it, but I would like to pass it on to someone. There's a lot of wetness in this, and why is this? Do they look like this? Yeah, they seem to look like this. Not good. I didn't dry this out well enough, so I'm just going to put this in my, and there's a lot of water in here. Hoo-ha. Yep, feels much better. So this is the Pilot Vanishing Point. Deep yellow. And it is a SU nib. I have, my friend Nikki loaned this nib to me, and I was going to try and figure out if I liked this. I had the intention of putting that nib into this pen because I do have a medium nib here, so I don't really need another medium nib. And so I was wondering if I wanted to use this. This feels, however, very much like it's very sharp. And I need to figure out if that is something that I enjoy. I wasn't able to handle it in this pen, but it feels more comfortable in the deep yellow. I'm glad we talked about this, and I'm glad I did just what I told you I would do. Yeah, please send me a message or an email. I am the exact same. Oh my God, can you see how it's light up here and wet down here? So I have heard so many things about this pen. Well, my friend Iron Mick said that Scribos are amazing because they are using the same machines that the Omas nibs were made on, and so they are producing as highly, I don't know where to go with this, what I'm saying, as amazing nibs as they were. And so Scribo has been pushed onto my mind, and that's why I actually bought one for my birthday. And when I first tested it, I wasn't 100% sure if the hype that he made around this nib was justified. But this ink color is definitely not one that I gravitate towards. And it was very risky putting this into that pen as a very first ink experience. And I was very hesitant. I asked my friends on Discord, should I not? Should I go with something that I know that I like, that I know the properties of? It's wetter. But that I am so excited about an ink in this pen shows me that there must be something really special about this nib. Because I wouldn't be excited about this ink in a different pen. I probably would have to try that out. My friend Roxy sent this sample to me. I should probably keep it and put it in a different pen and see how I feel about this ink. But I have written a paragraph in a letter with this pen yesterday after inking it up, and oh my gosh, it feels so good. So I am like head over heels, and I can't wait to, not that I don't like this ink, but to use an ink that I'm really as much in love with as I am with this pen. So yeah, excitement all around for sure. Doesn't seem very wet, but it's very, very smooth, and it just lays down the exact right amount of ink so that it shades. Ugh. Esterbrook Estie Scarlet with the Fine Flex nib, and I'm going to show you with down here what the flex looks like. It is not, it's a little bit bouncier than usual steel nibs, but it is definitely not soft so that if you put pressure on the pen, your tines spread all over. No, that's not one of those pens. If you were going to get some flex, you will have to actually really work for it with your pressure. I'm not a master of writing in flex. I have never mastered using any of the brush pens, but nevertheless I do really enjoy, I have enjoyed this nib. It might be just the ink Iroshi. Now I need to Zuku Tsuji, but this is extremely wet and it's extremely lovely. So Esterbrook. And it just feels, I mean, I don't know how this pen, the Waterman Inspired Blue, would be in this nib, but I feel like this is a little bit stiffer compared to this. This has a little bit more bounce to it, but it's just nice. Flex, that's what it's called. So yeah, you can see this is definitely on the wetter side. Okay, so I only have 8 pens inked this month. I do love the rainbow effect that I get still, even with 8 colors. I love that I'm using samples that I had in my stash for a while. I probably wouldn't have gravitated towards. Robert Oster Melon Tea, for instance, was in my stash for at least 1.5 years, if not even longer. Waterman Inspired Blue is a bit newer, but I skipped over it multiple times when I still picked samples by myself. And Tsutsuji is also quite new. I think I bought it at the same time as Inspired Blue. But what I want to say is, I probably wouldn't have combined them with each other. I probably would have skipped over them multiple times, and I'm so glad that by just blindly pulling samples out of my box, I am now getting to experience these colors and see if they're for me or not. I'm also trying to use bottles. So the rules that I have set for myself are, I'm pulling 4 ink samples from my box. Then I have 4 more pens that I can fill. Either those 4 are carryover pens from the previous month, or if I'm only, as this month, carrying over 3, then I have 1 more pen that I can ink, and that ink needs to be from my bottle stash. And so I am getting to use a lot of stuff, and I really like that. And I will get back to you probably beginning to middle of March and let you know how this went. If I stuck with this for a while, I mean, I just inked this yesterday, and I already know that I wouldn't be happy with this Namiki. So whenever I am not happy with something, I am just moving on. I'm not waiting for a YouTube audience. So I will just update you in my review how things went, what I changed, if I added more because suddenly I had more time. And yeah, I can't wait to see you, and I hope to hear from you soon. What am I talking about? Yeah, talk to me in the comments. If you would like to support me, I have a Ko-fi. Just you watching all the way to the end is support enough for sure. But if you want to do more, then yes, of course, there is Ko-fi. Members get early access to my Sunday snippet videos. And then I also have an affiliate code with Atlas Stationers, which I really enjoy their shenanigans. And I think they are on the right track. But if you want to use my code, that is available to you as well. It's in the description box. And if you don't want to use my code, use somebody else's, because you can save 10% on many of the items that they sell. And why not use it for that? Thank you so much for watching again. I hope you all have a great day. I will see you soon. Bye.